Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. I've been gone longer than usual. I have not done my weekend or weekly Eating Peace video, and that's because I've been teaching a 4-day annual spring retreat that I tend to do in May, simply in the work of Byron Katie. So it's not an Eating Peace retreat specifically at all. It's just looking at our thoughts, questioning our thoughts. But I tell you, why I'm sharing that today on Eating Peace is because, once again, every time I do this and do the work, especially with a group of people for 4 days like that, I'm just struck by how deeply and profoundly our mind is affecting the way we do everything. And that means eating for us that have had trouble with food and eating. So, really, the key thing around changing one's eating, experiencing our relationship with food, becoming different, and our bodies naturally balancing to where they need to be relaxed and healthy and normal and whatever that is for you in the world. Not too thin, by the way, but whatever that is, the key to getting there is to question your thoughts. It's your mind. And let's say it like it is. Let's tell it like it is, which is I'm believing lies. I'm actually believing lies about food, about eating, about weight, about relationships, about success and failure, and many other things may be happening in my world. When I feel stressed about them, I'm believing some kind of lie. That's why I have the stress. And I know that it can be really painful and difficult. You know, you watch the ticker tape of the mind. I watch my mind have something to say about practically everything that's happening. I mean, my mind is commenting. And there might be a reaction or there might be no reaction on a feeling level inside. And I know if there's a reaction, if there's a feeling of stress or pain or movement, a movement that feels just emotional, I'm beginning, or I already did, believe something that's a lie or something stressful. So what I found when I ate in such extreme ways is that I was believing a lot of lies, a lot of very stressful thoughts. I just was assuming they were true. So let's just notice, you can't maybe question all of everything you've ever believed in your entire life all at once in one day. I like thinking of this as taking our mind and questioning it. And the four questions, the work of Byron Katie, of course, is the most simple, straightforward way I've ever found to do this, just sitting in that inquiry. Identifying one thought at a time and walking through the four questions and finding turnarounds. So, anything that would take you out of just following the simple directions when it comes to hunger. So in other words, I'm not hungry. Simple directions with hunger. Let's just say what that is. Simple directions with hunger is there's been a period of time that's gone by when no eating or food has been necessary or required, and I've been out living my life. And then I begin to have some sensations in the body, maybe a growling stomach or an empty feeling or just sort of a fatigue or some kind of desire in the torso. Sometimes it's very subtle for some people. There's not screaming loud sensations of hunger, but I just know it's time to refuel. And I let that get down on the hunger scale to a 3. If we're talking about a hunger scale, being 0 being I'm just so starving, I'm completely empty, there's nothing in the tank, nothing's there, running on fumes, all the way up to a 10 is absolutely stuffed as stuffed can be. Both of those extremes are very physically uncomfortable, both of them. So let's be kind to ourselves and stay within a 3 and a 7. It's just kindness that does that. Simple directions. So just follow that. And almost in a way, here's the strange thing, is anyone who just follows that, stays between a 3 and a 7, you will balance out to a natural weight. But I know some people are not sure what happens, how to feel between a 3 and a 7, and sometimes it's because there's a lot of thoughts that get in the way. So you can just wonder, in any given moment, what your thoughts are about staying between that 3 and a 7 scale. Just staying right there in the middle somewhere. Stopping when full and satisfied. Getting ready to eat when you're getting hungry. Preparing something, eating. If you find yourself not doing that, just wonder why. Instead of attacking yourself like we've often done, I always did this. What the hell's wrong with you? Why do you do? You know you're not, don't eat that. Oh my God, she did it. She took a bite. She's going for it. Or, sort of an aggression about eating. Well, I can wonder, what's going on? What's going on? What is going on that I want to override the natural, simple directions that my body is wanting to find balance with, that I was born with? What's going on that I'm willing and actually demanding or pushing to override that simple place? What is it that I want? What emotion am I feeling? Am I angry about something? Am I exhausted and need to rest? Am I sad? Am I full of grief? Am I bored? Do I feel powerless in some situation? Am I afraid? Just watching the mind come up with these ideas and this commentary. You can write in your journal. It can be so profound and helpful because it's just like listening to the conversation, listening to the words. But then stop and notice what is repeating itself, or what's a strong thought. Can you identify something you're believing about this present moment? What do you not like about this moment? So many things can be going on there, but sometimes we'll think, oh, there's so much, it's so complicated, it's so complex. I've had a whole lifetime of all the so much. And maybe it's simpler than you think, because in this moment, whatever the strongest thought is the one on top. That might be fairly repetitive for you. It might be that it's not that complicated. Something like, I need entertainment. I need other people to be around. I'm lonely. I need to rest, but I should not rest. Other people need my attention. I should get these chores done. I have a to-do list. I shouldn't rest, but I'm tired. I'm feeling lost or confused or upset or anxious about somebody being angry with me. Or I feel betrayed or angry with someone else, hurt, rejected, form underneath the anger, hurt and rejection. Just an emotion. An emotion is rising up here. I'm afraid. So why am I afraid? Just think, what's the thought on top about, I'm afraid I don't have enough something. I'm afraid there's too much something. I love it. Not enough, too much. Because isn't that what we've been doing with our food and eating? Too much or not enough. When I binge ate I would also starve myself way beyond a 3. I'd be eating nothing all day long to pay for what I did the day before with eating so much. That kind of thing. Very extreme. Flip-flopping around. Not having normal meals. Kind of scared of food, but really scared of life. Sometimes what it is that is nurturing me, that is sustaining me, which is also life. The life force is sustaining me and nurturing me. And then what I'm experiencing, I'm out here in the world making contact with all these things, all these events that happen in my life. We all have such a unique experience. It's like we're all similar humans, but nobody's in the same place all the time at once. In fact, it's incredibly unique. So I'm having all this contact with the world and reality. And when it is stressful, I need to identify that and question it. And don't worry about questioning all your thoughts. We're not going to eat the entire thing all at once. Don't worry about needing to do that or having to do that. We can just question one, just identify one. I'm afraid because, and fill in the blank, or whatever the strongest emotion is that I'm experiencing. I'm sad because, or I'm bored because, I'm lonely. Just see what the thought is. See what the thought is, how you'd say it in the most simple way. And then let's take that to inquiry. Because those emotions and those thoughts will drive you right out of following the simple directions with stopping when you're satisfied and eating food when you're hungry. It's all about the mind. Only the mind will really usually do that, 99% of the time. There might be circumstances in the world that happen. They do happen where there just is no food available. And so I'm going down on the hunger scale. It's getting very low. Very unusual circumstances usually for us, which is pretty amazing. And there are circumstances where we are presented with a huge, vast amount of food. A feast is in front of us. So that's something too. It might trigger. There's the food that I love so much, all that food. But in those circumstances, it still does not mean that I don't follow the simple directions as best I can. And then, just allow things to be as they are. Let all that food be there. Let absence of food be there. And I'm still going to just open and hold that direction of kindness to look for food for myself if I need it. Ask for food. Say no thank you, even though there's all that ton of food that's even going to be thrown away. Don't we have that thought sometimes? But it's going to be thrown away. I am not a garbage can. I am not a garbage can. Me eating it is not the alternative to throwing it away that becomes better. It's not following the simple directions. So just noticing and noticing all these thoughts. And there won't be too many if you have that idea. Just do one, maybe one a day. I love how Byron Katie says, do the work for breakfast, have the work for breakfast. And that just means once a day, consume the work. Allow your mind to investigate a thought. It can be simple, like, I need to eat something, even though I'm not hungry, because fill in the blank. I need to not eat anything because fill in the blank. And then just begin to wonder about that with the work. Is it true? How do you react when you believe that is true? You eat, you starve, you diet. You don't follow that, you feel scared about that, staying in that range of middle range, balanced with food and eating. Who would you be without your thought? That emotion must be soothed. Eating food will fix it. If you feel like you want to eat when you're not hungry, or starving yourself will fix it. If you feel like you're getting very, very hungry, but you are afraid to eat. Who would you be without the thought that emotion will be fixed, or needs to be fixed, or must go away, and that thought that produced that emotion? Stay with that thought. Who would you be without it? Who would you be without it? And I love that the question is, who would you be without it? You don't have to be there yet. Just use your imagination to wonder, and notice, what if I didn't believe that lie? That I need to eat when I'm lonely or bored or angry, or that I'm scared. Who would I be without the thought? And just let yourself meditate and have a picture of yourself doing it that other way. What if you were someone that didn't, just break out of that middle balanced way in order to take care of an emotion and a thought? And then find your complete opposites. Okay, I'm not lonely in this moment, even that there's no one in sight. I'm not bored. What's interesting about this room and this space and this time? Just the opposite of whatever it is you're thinking. I'm afraid because, and I know there's a thought about what's after, like that person rejected me. That person didn't reject me. I'm rejecting me. I'm rejecting that other person. So, opposites to what we're normally thinking. So just one at a time. Just notice one thought at a time. You do not have to do them all at once. So if you have any strong thoughts that you notice rise up when it comes to food and eating that just seems so true and so impossible to not follow or believe, and they are also stressful, let's write them down, all right? And we'll begin to question them. And I'll be back with more inquiry, as always, on some of the thoughts that you share with me. So I've already got a whole list going. I know I've had some of those thoughts myself, and I know many people have shared as we look at this. And it's just a matter of questioning. Who would I be without that story? Who would you be without the story? Noticing. It's okay that food has been pleasurable and amazing and soothing and interesting, but it hasn't really satisfied us, has it? Because it rotates back around again. Here we come again to the same experience. And we just say things to ourselves like, it doesn't matter, there's nothing else I can try, food is my only friend, it's just, who cares, I don't care, doesn't matter, I'll just eat something anyway, I'm just gonna starve myself and make sure that I'm thin, because at least I have that, at least I'm in control of that, and nothing else. We just have those kinds of thoughts. So just identifying what it is we think, mindset change, really transforming by looking at with inquiry, no expectations or set agenda, just simply questioning with those 4 questions, one thought at a time. Just witnessing that in this retreat, it's amazing to see what people can do, questioning their own minds. You have the power to be the observer and notice and use your imagination for something very exciting instead of staying stuck. All right, I know you can do it. Lots of love.